everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. So today, as promised, we're going to be talking about studying for the next exam. So there's a few things that I want to go over, such as, what's the best way to study, where to study, how you can study, so on and so forth. I'll just jump into it. I mean, there's really, whatever you find the best way to study for you is the best way to study for you. There's not going to be one hard and fast rule saying, hey, everyone should study just like this. No, I mean, it's all personal preference. So you need to practice these. You need to try these out. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not necessarily my strong point. When I went up for third class, I made it on my second try. When I went up for second class, I made it on my first try. And, let's just say that E6 has been eluding me for a while. I've never studied a day in my life, so I didn't know how to study. So these are some of the things that I've been learning, as well as, what people have talked to me about and what ideas people have given me. So I hope you find something in the episode that works for you. So the first things first is the Bibs. I mean, number one, you got to find the Bibs to know what you need to study. And if you don't know how to find the Bibs, then you need to speak to someone in your chain of command. You need to talk to, if you're a seaman, you need to talk to the third class, second class, so on and so forth. You need to get that person to show you, hey, what exactly do I need to be studying for the exam? Have them walk you through how to find it. Explain what the Bibs are. Explain, what each thing references to and how you should look that up and how you should find it and how you should study it. You should definitely be reaching out and using your chain of command while you can. So like I said, first things first, Bibs. It's got to be. So another way, once you have found the Bibs, in addition to the Bibs, you can sometimes use Google and Quizlet. So Quizlet is, the thing about Quizlet is it's made by just normal everyday people, right? People make mistakes. So when you get on Quizlet, you can find things that reference your Bibs. You can find things that are lined up with what you should be studying, but you don't know unless you actually went through and made a Quizlet account and made the study material on there yourself. You're not going to know for sure, right? So if you do decide to use Quizlet, number one, make your own and make your own flashcards. Number two, if you decide to use somebody else's, you need to go into the Bibs, find that reference material. You need to read up on it yourself. So the next way that I found, and this is the one that I use, and I absolutely love it. Because I just started using it this last year. I'm a procrastinator. I'm the type of guy that I won't study. If I have to go through the Bibs, I won't do it. So Blue Jacketeer. Now Blue Jacketeer is relatively new. They're kind of limited on some of their rates, but I mean it's awesome. They've got pre-made flashcards for you. They have they update the Bibs really quick. It's just so much good stuff, and I'm really going to go in and break it down later. The problem with Blue Jacketeer is it's a paid service. So there's two options. There's PMK, which is $10 a month, and there's PMK plus your in-rate knowledge, and that's $20 a month. Now I'll come back to that later, and I'll break down exactly what all's in there. And then there's Navy BMR. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into a review and let's go over every little thing, but Navy BMR is also another paid service. Now, comparing the two, again, I'll come back and break both of these down, but Navy BMR is, to me, in my opinion, it's not worth it. But you get some of the same things. You can get a study guide, some mock exams, and some other things. So those are two online options that you can use. Now, when it comes to studying on your own, and let's say you're using just the Bibs, when you go through there are things that should stick out to you. Anything that has numbers, right? So I don't know, just off the top of my head, a certain type of fence needs to be 8 feet high and have signs posted at 6 feet high or stuff like that. That kind of stuff, that's what you should be looking at. Highlight it and come back to it later, because the Navy loves its numbers, whether it's evals, exams, whatever. The Navy loves numbers. Also, the bibs themselves, the instructions that you're reading up through, that the bibs are telling you to go look at, write those down. You should know pretty much all of those instructions, because I can almost guarantee you they will be on there. They'll ask, what does whatever name of the instruction, what is the instruction number? OpNav 55, whatever, right? That's definitely something that you should know. And I mean, those are pretty easy to do. Just write down what it is, and bam, there's your flashcard, right? And that's another thing I didn't mention is when you're going through the bibs yourself, if you don't want to use Quizlet or online, as well as highlighting through the bibs, you can make your own flashcards, right? Yeah, I know people that study, and that's how they do it. They make their own flashcards. That is a great way to do it, but you got to make sure you're reading through the material. You need to come up with a plan, right? So those are some of the basic ways to study, right? And I'll go back through and highlight some more information, but let's talk about what you should do. How should I say this? What you should do to study, how you should study. Let's get a little more in depth, right? So this is going to be a personal preference, but kind of like we were talking about with doing the bibs or doing like Blue Jacketeer or Navy BMR, you need to figure out what works for you. If you're going to do physical copies or like an online copy using your iPad, using your phone, tablet, whatever you have, figure out which one works best for you and which one you're actually going to use. Now, there are studies that show that listening to music while you study helps. The key thing here is you don't want to use music that has words, right? You want to use like opera, or you can go online, and silly me, I didn't think about it to check beforehand, but there are websites that you can use that are just background noise, like sounds of the rainforest or stuff like that. But supposedly this helps increase your neural function. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but having some type of light music or sound in the background, nothing heavy, nothing with words. Supposedly this helps you remember the information that you're going over. Another thing that you should be doing anyways, because we're in the military, is exercising, right? And I know I'm not making this up. I've been reading this stuff online. So exercising, it's been well established in the field of health, fitness, and psychology. Studies show that brain power gets a boost from a short workout, right? What a workout does is going to pump oxygen and nutrients through your body into the brain, and it's really going to help you study, help you remember stuff. So along with that, though, you also need to relax. I know this may sound funny, me reading these off, but I had to prepare some show notes for this because, like I said, studying is not my forte. But stress really does, it bogs you down. It can make you, and I've actually gone through this myself, stress can affect your memory, and it can make you forget things. The more stressed out you are, the less likely you are to retain information. Sounds crazy. I thought it was crazy too, but apparently it's a thing, right? Make sure you're well rested. So you want to get a good night's sleep. If it's your off day, you want to try and get a nap in and then do some studying. That definitely helps too, because there's a study that shows that 2 hours of sleep deprivation from your normal schedule can actually make you feel drunk. Not feel drunk, but make your brain function like it's drunk. So make sure you're getting a good night's sleep. You want to set up a schedule, right? So every day you get home at 1700. I'm going to take 30 minutes out of my day at 1700 every time, and I'm going to spend 30 minutes studying. And do it. Stick to it. Make a plan. And that routine will help get you through, and that'll keep you on track, keep you where you need to be. And that 30 minutes every day is guaranteed. You don't ever have to worry about something coming up or whatever. No, I've set this 30 minutes a day aside, and I will do it every day. So another way, practice tests. And like I said, with Blue Jacket Tier, Navy BMR, those are some ways that have practice tests. I'm sure you can find some stuff online. Those are just the two main ways that I've found, right? Like I was saying before, come up with a plan, come up with a routine. Along with that routine, trying to keep a journal. I know that sounds a little weird, but by keeping a journal, keeping yourself on track, there's studies that show that people that actually write down what they're going to do, they stick to it. I can't remember the percentage, but the percentage was way above people that didn't. And so along with that, repetition is key. So the more times you do something, the more likely you are to remember it. So along with keeping track of what your study times and what you're doing, you should also write some of the stuff down, especially some of the harder stuff, numbers. For me, I hate numbers. So by writing those down over and over again, it's gonna help you to remember. One thing that really helps me is teaching other people. So when I have to teach other people, it really makes me want to learn the information myself. And so by teaching someone else, it helps me to retain it. You're taking the time and you're teaching people. You're really going to dig through and find that information and learn it yourself, because you don't want to make yourself look like an idiot, right? So by doing that, you're going to retain more. Hey, start a study group, and in that study group, say we're going to study 4 days a week. Day 1, Bob is going to teach something. Day 2, Cindy's going to teach something. Day 3, I'm going to teach something, right? And by doing that, number 1, you're sharing the wealth, and number 2, you're forcing yourself to learn. Now, that may not work for everybody. Some people are a little gun shy. They don't really like talking in front of people, and that's fine. All these things are, whatever suits you best. Now, some people say, I actually haven't found any research on this, so I don't want to say that, but doing things like chewing a piece of gum or having a peppermint or something with a really strong flavor when you study, have that every time you study, and then when you go take the exam, have that again. And supposedly that strong flavor helps you recall your memories. Don't overstudy. So when you spend too much time overstudying, you're just going to overload your brain. You're going to shut down. You're like, whatever, I'm over this. I don't want to be here. Limit your study times. Find what works. What is best for you. If 30 minutes is good, awesome. Do 30 minutes. Take a break. And if you want to come back to it, cool. Do that. But if you know that sitting there and studying for 30 minutes because you have ADHD or because you hate it, don't do it. Find the right time. If 15 minutes works for you, do 15 minutes, take a break, do another 15 minutes. Don't overdo it and go 2 hours and just completely break down and forget everything. Find a time frame that works best. Now, that's going to take time. You're going to have to do this. You should be doing it most days anyways, but find the right thing for you. Don't distract yourself. So if all right, I've got this scheduled time slot, I'm going to be doing 30 minutes here, take your phone, put it on silent, put it off to the side, tell your significant other, hey, I'm spending 30 minutes studying, and, sit in a place where you're not going to have distractions, where if your computer distracts you or your phone or you like to doodle, whatever, remove the distractions. Find a way to study without distractions and make it happen. I mean, it really comes down to that. Mix things up. So it's great to study the same thing every day, but we have a lot of stuff to get through. So, during your study session, plan it out. Say, I'm going to do 15 minutes on this topic and 15 minutes on this topic, or 5 minutes on this topic and 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there. Whatever's hardest for you, obviously you spend a little more time on it, but break it up. Break up the monotony, because if you're going over the same thing over and over and over again, you're just going to get bored and tired of it. That at least that's for me, that's a big thing. Like, just seeing the same thing over and over again, I'm like, So along with some of those, and sleeping well, and being well rested, and not distracted. Another thing is make sure your space is organized. You don't, if you know you're going to be spending 30 minutes in this one spot, take time. Hey, do I have my notebook? Do I have my study material? Is my chair comfortable? Do I have enough space? Do I need snacks? Do I need water? Do I need whatever? Take the time to set your space up and be prepared to spend the next however long you're going to do it sitting or standing or whatever you're doing in that space, and make sure you have everything you need. So along with that, though, you want to be eating healthy. The healthier you eat, the better. The better you're going to feel, the better you're going to do. You don't want to be just eating a bunch of crap. And that just goes for everything in life. So like I said, make sure you're taking breaks, right? You don't want to be overdoing yourself. Plan. You want to plan for the night before, right? So the night before, you don't want to try and cram. Well, okay, I say that, but for some people it works. Some people it doesn't. I don't recommend it, but take a day off. Let your brain relax. Get a good night's sleep. Get some good food. When you get up in the morning, make sure you have a good breakfast. Get to the exam. Make sure, everything is set and ready to go and you don't have to worry about anything. So this next one is going to be a little weird. Maybe not, but think about it like training your dog, right? When they do something right, what do? Give them a treat, or you praise them, or whatever. So do that with yourself. As you're studying, reward yourself. If you get something right, give yourself a, I don't know, if you really like candy, give yourself a piece of candy. Or if you smoke, if I get X amount of questions right, I'm going to take a smoke break. Do something, set yourself up to reward yourself. Speak out loud. Sometimes when you're studying, reading something over and over again, it may not stick, but take the time, read it out loud, say it out loud 2 or 3 times, write it down 2 or 3 times, and that definitely helps. Mental association. So taking time, using, some people use acronyms, some people, whatever. Take time to figure out, okay, the way I'm going to remember this particular instruction is I'm going to say, this equates to this, whatever. You use references. So the way to remember, like with MAs, a lot of time we have all these different forms we have to remember, and so one is 10 will get you a 9. So 10 is affidavit for search, which is basically the request for a search, and the 9 is the actual search authorization. And so that's just something that we use. But come up with a little ditty to help yourself to remember things. When you're along with that, create a diagram. So if you need to remember something and you want to do like a little tree to help you remember, take the time and do that. So also whenever you're going over stuff, use your spouse or significant other or your study buddy, right? So take a list of things and go over the information. Use it as like memorization. So break it down line by line. This question is this, and I know, especially for us in the Navy, we don't know what the test is going to be about, right? So we don't have that information ahead of time where we can know exactly this question is going to be there. We have to kind of make it up as we go. But for things like knowing form numbers or stuff like that, you pretty much know it's going to be on there, right? So write it all down and go over it line by line and repeat it, and then go back and forth with each other and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And that, at least for me, I know helping taking it down line by line has really helped me. There's another theory called chunking. So basically, since our short-term memory is really limited, chunking is a technique you use to help gather more information and store it. So an example is like, you say you have a phone number, right? When I remember a phone number, I remember it in 3 digits, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Break it down into segments so you can remember that one segment, and then once you get that one segment, add the second segment, And then once you get both the first and second segment, add the third segment. And it's kind of like what I was talking about, breaking it down line by line. Break it down even further and go by segment. So yeah, I mean, that's the basics of at least what I have. A lot of this is going to be your personal preference and how you study best. So let's go back to Blue Jacketeer and Navy BMR. So Blue Jacketeer is really great. With the $10 you get the PMK, and then with the $20 you get the PMK and in rate. Now, what you get with that is you're going to get the updated bibs. Now, what I love about this is their bibs they update them quick. As soon as they come out, they're going through and getting on them. Now, it does take time because of the manpower it takes to get in and go through these and come up with questions and things like that. So, it's not going to be like as soon as the bibs come out, they're out. It takes a little bit of time. You got to give them that. But you get the updated bibs on there, questions and flashcards, and smart flashcards. So now what smart flashcards are, basically what a smart flashcard is. So let's say you have 5 flashcards. You get flashcard 1 and 2 wrong, and then you get 3 and 4 correct, and then 5 wrong. So what it'll do is it'll give you 1, 2, and 5 more times than it gives you 3 and 4. So that's a small scale. It's kind of hard to explain, but it breaks it down basically. And when you answer a question, it either if you get it wrong, it has a set time frame that it shows it back to you, and then if you get it, you get to choose one of the 3 options. But if you get it wrong, so if it's hard, it'll show it again in, I don't know, say a minute. If it was easy, then it may show it again. It may take a full day before it comes back up. And then if it was really easy, I think it's 2 to 3 days before it comes back up. So those questions, you can really break it down. Like, you may have got the question right, but you thought it was hard, so you wanted to show back up again in 10 minutes. Or you thought it was really easy, and you're like, I know that. Like, that is something that I do every day. I know that. You can click the easy button and it won't pop up for several days. So another benefit is they have a phone app. So you have this information online, or you can download the phone app and it syncs with the online version, and it's great. Also, whenever you're answering questions, they have excerpts from the bib. So let's say they ask me a question about physical security, right? Because MAs, we deal with that, and I don't know the answer to it. So I answer it to the best of my ability. I get it wrong. Well, what it's going to do is it's going to pop up with an excerpt from the bib, and it'll break it down. It'll say, this is the bib, this is the chapter, and this is the page. And if I remember correctly, I think it has a paragraph, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, but it breaks it all the way down the page, so you can go in and find it if you don't trust the excerpt. So the excerpt has the exact paragraph that covers whatever that question was, which for me is phenomenal, because I'm not going to take the time to go in and go look that up. But if it pops up right there, oh, bam, there it is. And, the Navy teaches trust but verify, and if that's something you feel like you need to do, then it has it broke down exactly where it's at, so you can go look it up. They have highlighted PDFs available. And so I wrote in my notes here, see the website for the available rates, but I'm just going to read them off to you. They have aviation electronics mate, aviation maintenance and administration, aviation structural mechanic, safety equipment, bosun's mate, builder, construction electrician, culinary specialist, electrician's mate, electronics technician, engineman, fire controlman Aegis, I think is how you say that, gas turbine system technician, electrical, gunner's mate, corpsman, information systems technician, interior communications electrician, legalman, logistics specialist, machinery repairman, master at arms, personnel specialist, ships serviceman, sonar tech, submarine, sonar tech surface, steel worker, and yeoman. So those are all the available races that they have. Along with all of that information that I just told you about, they also have study guides for pins. They have FMF, surface, air, and CB combat. So if you're going up for a warfare pin, bam, they have it. They also have this 10-week study program, and you can sign up for it, and it breaks down. They give you, exactly a 10-week guide on what you should be studying, how much, so on and so forth, to really make sure that you are prepared for the exam. That way you can cover all the material, which, again, for someone like me that procrastinates and will not do this on their own, it's awesome. So what turned me on to this particular study site was I had a chief. Well, when I was here the first time with him, he was a first class. And then I ran into him again, and this time he was a chief. And so we were talking, and he was like, "Hey, you haven't picked up first yet?" And I was like, "No." And he asked me, how I was studying, so on and so forth. And, I'd never studied a day in my life. And so I was like, I don't know how to study. I've never studied. And he told me about this, about Blue Jacketeer. He said, I had 5 sailors come up to me and say, we're going to use this Blue Jacketeer from now until the next advancement exam. He said, okay, I expect you to stick to it. And he said all 5 of them picked up. For me, I've been trying for way too long. I was like, yep, sold, done. $20 a month? Yeah, I got it, no problem. And then I had another buddy of mine who used it, and this is somebody that I know. He used it and he picked up. So it works, but it's a matter of taking the time to sit down and do it. Now you can get on their website, you can look at their testimonials, you can look at their reviews, you can look at everything about them, and for me, I really like it. I reached out to him. That's one of the reasons I was kind of delayed on this episode. I reached out to him. I said, hey, I'm not looking for sponsorship, but, tell me about what you do. I'm doing a podcast, and I'm going to be talking about you. Tell me some things that you do and what you would like me to say. And they never got back to me. So maybe after this, they'll reach out and they'll have some more information for us. Anyways, moving on. Navy BMR. So here's the thing about this one. You can get a study guide, but the study guide itself is going to cost you $50. Now, I've had people do this before. I've used it before, and I found that I didn't take the time to go over it. The thing about it, though, is whereas Blue Jacketeer is all-inclusive, with Navy BMR, you have their study guide, which is $50, and then you have their mock exams, which are $20 a month. So there's a price difference there. If you want to just use their mock exams, $20 a month, okay, fine. They do have a phone app. They do have the Bibs on their site. The thing about their website is they're really slow to update. Whenever I was going over this, I looked at Blue Jacketeer. They were already updated with the new stuff. Navy BMR was not updated yet. The website's not very intuitive, going through and trying to figure out exactly what you need to do. Like, there's no this is how much it costs, or subscribe here. You just kind of have to go on faith and then find it and click purchase or subscribe or whatever. Once you go in, once you go into you click study guides, it says, oh, you have to be a subscribed member, and then you click that, and then it tells you how much it is, which it's kind of annoying. And again, it's not the most intuitive website. Like I said before, you have to pay for the study guide, and then if you want to use the exams, you have to subscribe separately. So that's 2 separate bills. So you have a one-time $50 payment, and then you have a monthly reoccurring $20 payment. Then they have their pins. They also have the warfare pins available. So FMF, Surface, Air, CB Combat, and Information Warfare. So you can compare and contrast those. Use whatever you want. I didn't really want to turn it into a review. They both have different things. They both work fairly well. The pricing, which one works best for you. But at the end of the day, the bare minimum that you should be doing is you should be breaking out your bibs. You should be reading over them and figuring out exactly what you need to be going over. And it's a lot of information. It's a lot to take in. But talk to your first classes. Talk to your second classes. These people, they've been in. They've studied, they've, obviously made rank, so they have some idea on what to do. Talk to them, tell them your intentions, tell them what you're trying to do, and they will help you. And if they don't help you, well, there's plenty of people out there that will. Find someone that works for you, that works with you, study with them. Find whatever is best for you. At the end of the day, it's about you. It's about you progressing your career. It's about you making rank. So if this is something that you really want, then you're going to do it. And that's where I'm at. I've decided that this is something that I want to do, and I've started studying. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have tips, if you have tricks, reach out. Let me know. Let me put it out, because this podcast is about us. And if you have some top secret information, okay, not literally top secret, but if you have some secret squirrel information about how you do things and it seems to work, or people in your shops, everybody seems to be picking up because of what they're doing, tell us that secret. We want to put it out. We want all of us to make rank. We want all of us to be happy and to make more money, right? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. More money, more responsibility. So thanks for listening. I really hope this has been some help. Please reach out. We're on Twitter, Facebook, or you can email me at enlistedpointofview@gmail.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.